What's up, good people? Welcome back to another episode of Undrafted Views. We're here. We talk sports from the sidelines, and today we're going to talk about all things Golden State Warriors. Let's get into it.
The Golden State Warriors are currently sitting at the top of the Western Conference with a record of 31-11, and they finally have Klay Thompson back. What have you seen from Klay so far?
I think he's been good considering his limited minutes. I understand how they are moving him slowly back into the rotation. I like it. They need him, obviously. And I think that him coming back at this time, getting his rhythm back. Of course, I don't expect him to be, 3 games played and all of a sudden he's just who he was before he left. I didn't expect that. But I am glad that he's back. I am glad that he's feeling more confident the more games he'll play. Yeah, Klay Thompson is good. Welcome back. And let me just tell you though, the Warriors organization is an employer's dream.
Mm-hmm.
The way their loyalty to Klay, the way they have treated him during his time out for the past 2 seasons is something that every employee would love for their employer to treat them, how they would like to be treated. It's been amazing. And that celebration for him to come back, you thought it was the 4th of July. It was really good to watch. But yeah.
Yeah, call me crazy, but I thought Klay Thompson would come back a little sharper than what I've seen.
Mm.
I mean, I know he's been out 2.5 years. I didn't know his minutes restriction would be only 20 minutes. It just felt like I haven't seen enough of him, 4 or 5 minute batches. It just
Yeah.
wasn't enough for him to even, for me, like to catch a rhythm. And after being out so long, it's difficult if you're only going to play me in these little batches.
Yeah, but they don't know. I understand the need to do that. They're not talking about a short term game. They want the long term game. So I
Mm-hmm.
respect the Warriors organization for putting the minutes restrictions on Klay Thompson's game because they're trying to make sure that his injuries, can sustain and that he's fully healthy and that getting him back into the rhythm of playing is only fair to his body. I think. So I'm okay. If you're looking for him, if we were looking for Klay Thompson to come in and put in 40, 30, 45 minutes, I think that would have been a disservice to him. Right. So I don't think it's about what it is right now. It's what it's supposed to be in the future. And really, if there are championship aspirations that the Warriors have, they need Klay Thompson for the long run. So I'm okay with his minutes restriction. I'm okay that he's not playing back to back right now. I'm fine with that. Get him ready for when we really need him post All-Star game. So yeah, that's okay for me.
But one thing I did like about his return was he didn't appear to be like favoring either leg, right? Because
No,
he
I
had the
agree.
Achilles on one
I
and he
agree.
had the ACL on the other. He didn't favor. I mean, he was going strong to the rim. I
Yeah.
like that he was just going hard. In
Yeah.
fact, I think he was going to the rim a little bit more than when he left out of the game. He was mostly a perimeter shooter. So I
Yeah.
like what I'm seeing so far. I just wish I could see more of it, but I realize it'll come in due time.
I,
Klay returned against the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was a game that the Warriors had to win. I'm so glad that they did. Klay Thompson went 7 for 18 from the field. There was no Draymond Green in that game, and Steph went 10 for 21. I think Steph Curry is kind of in the shooting slump, and I'm not sure exactly why. This is the worst slump of his career.
It's funny that I keep hearing that he's in a shooting slump, and I understand that he's still putting up double digits. The shooting slump is really related to his 3-point production. Has to be, right? Because it's not like
Mhm.
he's not getting up points. He's still one of the top two high scorers in each game that they've played. So it's we are not seeing his explosiveness from the 3-point range. I think that's what labels him in this shooting slump. But it ain't like he's barely making points. So
Yeah,
I just
it,
don't
it's
get that.
it's it's the volume of shots, right? He went 10 for 21, 8 for 21, 4 for 11. That's uncharacteristic. In fact, over the last couple of months, Steph Curry has shot what 38% from the 3-point range. In November 42, December 37%, and then this month 28%, which is in like a career low for Steph Curry. That's why I think we're seeing, oh my God, he's in a terrible slump right now. But I'm not worried about Steph Curry.
I'm
You
not
know,
worried about him either. But
Mm-mm.
is the shooting slump indicative of him not being able to get up the shots, or is it that these defenses understand how to defend him better than they have in the previous years? I'm just curious. I don't understand that. So is it really him, or is it that he is unable to, based off of the defensive prowess that these teams have now figured out
Hmm.
where they're preventing him from. Just it's interesting.
Well, the Warriors offense is all about screening and movement, right? And so I think the Warriors are doing a good job of getting him open. It's just that he's just not knocking down the shot.
Mhm.
So over the last couple of games that the Warriors have played, what has been your biggest takeaway?
I have a couple of them, but my one of the ones that I want to mention is Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Like the Warriors need Draymond Green on the floor at all times. And let me tell you why. Draymond Green is a great manager of the floor. He is their floor general. And not only that, he knows how to break down defenses. So he has the ability to get the ball to the person that needs it at the time. Now, yes, Steph Curry is going to always be his first option. But if he's not there, then he knows how to make sure the ball gets into someone else's hands. And he is such a bully in a positive way, of course, that he knows how to um, manhandle, defend, even the strongest players in the league. And I think that is something that the Warriors need at all times. And so with him being out, I noticed that although they were able to win some games, they won the game against the Cavs and they were able to blow out the Chicago Bulls. But when I was watching the Memphis and the Bucks game, I was like, "Ooh, Draymond Green is really, really, really needed." So Draymond Green is one of the. I know we talk a lot about Steph Curry being the man and all of that, but without Draymond
Mhm.
Green, I just don't know how successful the Warriors will be long term. So yeah, Draymond Green was a huge missing piece for me in the past few games.
Absolutely. They needed him. They needed his little 4 points and 18 assists. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, the
Exactly.
way he controls the flow of that game,
Hmm.
and it could contribute to why Steph Curry is kind of in a slump these last couple of games,
Hmm.
for sure. Because he gets Steph open. Absolutely. Now, the one thing that I noticed mostly from the last couple of games is Jordan Poole and Gary Payton II have been God sent for the Warriors. And Jonathan Kuminga has chipped in quite nicely. I love the fact that Steve Kerr has faith in his rookie to go out there and put up buckets. So yeah, that's the one thing that I've seen. Even without Draymond, yes, they need him, but they have so many pieces to chip in. And Jordan Poole, Gary Payton II, I'll take it.
I think it's working right now because Klay Thompson has limited minutes. One of my
Ah,
concerns that I have regarding those same players is that what would that look like when Klay Thompson minutes increase? Will they still be able to? And I'm quite sure they would. They'll have to learn how to adjust their game. And so, what I don't want to have happen for those guys is that now they become an afterthought
oh,
because they're such a major part of the success of the Warriors this first quarter, this first half of the season, that for
mm-hmm.
them not to be able to get the same type of play time that they currently had at the end of the last season,
Yeah,
now that Klay is back, it may shift the dynamic of the Warriors. And I can't wait to see how that's going to then change and benefit and or not their ability to be as successful as they are right now. And I think it's going to change. What we're seeing right now, once Klay Thompson's minutes get up, we're not going to see in the future. And that's kind of sad for me.
it is. Because when you think about Juan Toscano Anderson, Jordan Poole, Gary
Mhm.
Payton II, yeah, it's true. They helped carry the Warriors throughout this period of time without Klay Thompson. So yeah,
Yes.
Steve Kerr is going to have some really tough decisions, coming up, especially as we get closer to the playoffs,
Mhm.
which are
Yep.
right around the corner after All-Star break,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
I'm here for Clay being the man he was. I want all that for Clay. He deserves it, right? And he's such a good guy. So why not?
Yeah.
But also, these other players have proven themselves to be just as valuable to the Warriors team. And what would that look like for them once Clay's minutes increases? That's just something I'm going to be watching for as the season progresses. So, yeah.
Yeah. Can we talk about Andrew Wiggins and his resurgence? I
Can we
love
talk
that he is
about
finally playing up to his full capability.
Can we talk about when you're gonna get a ball to Andrew Wiggins? That's what I'm
Yes.
thinking. Get a ball to Andrew. He gonna hit. He gonna be at the top. You know what? It leads me to believe that when you are in the right system, when the player and the system connects, it makes for them to be better. And I think that he found his home with the Warriors. He's
Yeah.
been an amazing force, and he's also. This is what I'm saying. Even though Steph Curry's in this shooting slump, it hasn't really mattered because of the other guys Andrew Wiggins being who he finally is supposed to be, I believe, why he was drafted number 1 overall
Mhm.
anyway.
Yep.
And now he's showing that. And so, yeah, that's why the Warriors have not suffered as much, because Steph Curry hasn't been at his best. He doesn't really need to be at his best right now, because you have these other players that have been able to absorb his lack of shooting. I'm just like, go with, and he's on the All-Star list.
Yeah. So the Warriors could potentially have 4 players at the All-Star game, right? Steph, Draymond, Wiggs, and Klay Thompson. They just might.
Okay. Hey, Steph, Curry, Draymond, I'm here for it. The Klay with Thompson one, watch our previous video. He hasn't played enough for me to warrant a all-star spot, but I'm not going to digress. But yeah.
All right, so Steph Curry has said that he views the season in 3 parts. The first part was to get off to a good start, which they did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Top of the Western Conference. The second part was waiting for Klay Thompson and James Wiseman to get back. Partial, right? We're still waiting on James Wiseman. And then the third part, which I think the Warriors are finally at, is the playoff push. And I know Steph Curry's out right now with his injured hand, but he said it's not serious. But you know what? The Warriors are still going to be the top of the West. And I still believe nobody wants to see them in a 7-game series.
No, not at all. And that's what I'm saying. I don't even think it matters if the Warriors were to dip a bit in the standings. It is okay. It doesn't matter where their positioning is between 1 and 6. Really, at the end of the day, they are making it out of the first round. I don't care who they play. They will be going deep into the playoffs. So yes, I know they would like to end the season being maybe top 3, top 2 seed. I get it. But if they happen to fall down because of whatever, some injuries and lingering things that happen, as the season progresses, it don't even matter. They're gonna be still top 6, and they're going to still make it out of round 1, whoever they play against, and they're gonna make it out of round 2, whoever they play against. It just doesn't matter, right? So I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, but if the Warriors slip down, that means the Grizzlies probably slide up to the 2 spot. Oh
And I
my
don't
God.
care. I don't really care about that. I know
Okay.
that my whole thing is this. I think the best positioning to be in is between 1 and 3. If you're gonna slide anywhere, but slide up in between them, because who you gonna be playing? 6, 7, and 8, and 7 and 8 have to fight to get there. So,
Uh-huh.
it's impossible, and they're gonna be exhausted. You would have rested at least a week. They're gonna be exhausted, and look who's in that. Who is fighting for those play-in tournament positions, and who could potentially be 7 and 8. What?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Walk in the park for anybody between 1 and 3, unless these teams all of a sudden get their mojo. I just don't know. But the likelihood of an upset for the Warriors in round 1 for one of those later seeds, 6, 7, or 8, I don't see it. Something else that I saw within these last games, especially against the Bucks, is that their lack of size may be an issue.
Oh, it is.
Ooh,
It is.
there. So I understand why they are waiting for James Wiseman to come back, because of his size and his length. I still have a concern about James Wiseman because he has not played a full season at all in the Warrior scheme or in the league itself. So I think he's played like maybe 39 games, so 30 something games last season. I could be wrong, but it's not a full season. And I'm just like, so we want James Wiseman back, but what will he really contribute?
It's just the big body in the middle, because Looney, I like Looney. He's Looney. He's championship Looney, but I'm telling you, they need somebody a little bit more athletic, a little bit more size, somebody who can get up. And, Looney is not going to fare well against the Rudy Goberts, the Joel Embiids. It's just not going to happen. James Wiseman is huge.
He's huge, but my concern is about experience. And I don't even know, just because he's huge and he's lengthy and they need his height, would he still be able to fare up against those guys? He's still not going to be able to do it,
Mm-hmm.
But with the help of Draymond, he may, because Draymond can. Now he can stop you because but he has experience. And so one of the things that, again, what concerns me is their length, and it really highlighted itself in the Bucks game. And bringing James Wiseman, although I can't wait for him to get back, I just don't know I don't know how his impact will really change what the Warriors need when it comes to size.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's a good point.
I
So let's talk about the next 5 games for the Golden State Warriors. They will be on a home stand, and I feel like they need it. Oh, they need some home cooking, and they need not to travel. So this will be really good for the Warriors, maybe win a couple of games. How do you have them faring up against these next 5 teams?
think they'll go 3-2. I say 3-2. I say 3-2 because if Curry does not play these games because of his hand injury right now, then it's going to give the opportunity for Klay to maybe get more minutes, maybe.
Mhm.
And if Draymond comes back, then we'll be able to see what that looks like. And then they'll still give the guys who've actually been holding down the fort an opportunity to still keep doing it. So I give them 3-2. I think that if they were going to lose any games, potentially the Jazz, potentially because of the big that, again, I still think that there's a concern with size as it relates to the Warriors. Not that it would be anything that can be detrimental to them in the postseason. I just think that's something that we need to consider. So they can lose against the Jazz. And then the Mavs, again, it depends where Steph is. So I say 3-2 and maybe potential loss between the Jazz and the Mavs.
Okay. So I have the Warriors going 5-0 on this
Mm-hmm.
homestand. I
Okay.
have them beating Detroit. Even though Detroit has been surprising a lot of teams, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think the Warriors will fall for it. I also have them beating the Indiana Pacers
Mm-hmm.
because they're just not a good team this
Mm-hmm.
year. And then the Houston Rockets, Utah, and Dallas. I just feel like the Warriors will be at home. They'll be relaxed. They'll have their Chase Center fan base,
Yeah.
and they'll go 5-0. All right, you guys, we're going to wrap up this episode on the Golden State Warriors. Make sure you drop down in the comments and let us know what you think about this. And we will see you guys on the next one. But until then,
Peace.
peace out.